The Yale 5000 is an uncommon dual mechanism high security lock which was originally patented in 1985 by Walter Serco Jr. The first mechanism is a pin tumbler with 7 key pins that are paired with Yale's classic spooled security driver pins. The second mechanism is a sidebar with its 5 sliders. If we inspect the bottom of the key, we see 5 notches cut out at 3 possible depths which engage with and push up the sliders. These crescent-shaped sprung sliders are found hidden under the warding on the bottom of the keyway. When the key is inserted, the sliders are pushed up to the correct position. When the sliders are properly aligned, the sidebar can retract into their gates, which allows for rotation of the core. There are 3 types of sliders: 0 or no lift, 1 or mid lift, and 2 or max lift. Let's see them in action. For these examples, the only element in the lock is the single slider, which we will be examining. The no-lift slider needs no manipulation. The core can just freely rotate. The mid-lift slider must be moved to this mid position to be set. And finally, the max lift slider has to be pushed all the way to be set. To pick the sliders, I use a half diamond pick facing down and rotate it under the warding in this manner to set the sliders. The sliders are pretty straightforward to set, and oversetting them is not possible. Let's take a look at this example. I have arranged the sliders in the most difficult of configurations, 00102, which is max lift and mid lift sliders hidden behind the no lift sliders. In this configuration, one would think that the no-lift sliders would be easily overset. I'm using my pick to set the max lift slider in the back. Next, I'm intentionally pushing on the no-lift slider in an attempt to overset it, with no success. The mid-lift slider is then picked and the lock is opened. If this lock would simply have some false gates in the no-lift sliders, it would significantly increase its pick resistance. Okay, let's get to picking. I'm going to be using clockwise top of the keyway tension and my favorite pick, the Peterson number 7 for the key pins. What you see me often do to find the binder is just a quick zip of the key pins. It'll quickly help me locate the binding pin. And the binder is number 2, so let's get that guy up and nice little click. Number 1, a nice click and a rotation of the core. I'm going to the back. That's a click out of 7, teeny click out of 7. That's 6, 5, 4, and that's a 3. Okay. Just checking to make sure that everything else is set, and I do a quick zip. All right, we're going to move on to the sidebar. I'm going to grab my Sparrows half diamond facing downward and twist it in to number 5, 4, rotation 3, and we're open. Nice. All right, out of the vise. We're going to fast forward through a lot of this. The best way to gut this is turning the core 45 degrees clockwise. When you pull out the core, you got to have your finger both on the sidebar and the sliders. The sliders are not retained by the key. It's kind of the only design that I've seen, the only lock that doesn't do that. So it's a pain in the butt. If you don't hold your fingers there, you get springs and sliders flying all over the place. Okay, so I'm taking out all the key pins. They're all standard. I'm going to pop out the sidebar and then the 5 sliders. Let's take a look at the core. I'm not going to pop out the springs that are associated with the sliders. They're just really tough to put back in. But those are where the key pins go. That's the keyway. Put my finger over the springs. That's the bottom of the keyway, and here's where the sidebar goes. Let's put that aside. Take a look at the sidebar itself after I pull out the spring. Here we go. All right, let's take out the drivers now. Number 1 and 7 are going to be standard, and the rest are going to be spools. All right, let's take a look at the housing. And what we're going to see is that on the right-hand side here, there's a little groove for the sidebar. Flip it over, and then, whoop, there goes a spring. All right, let's make this all pretty for the people. And take a closer look. On the bottom row is all the key pins, followed by the drivers. And that top row is the sliders, and the sidebars right above it. And the last thing to note is that when you reassemble this lock, the easiest way to do it is to put the sidebar in first and then slide the sliders underneath it. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this pick. If you did, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.